Good morning. We'll do something a little different today. Still working on some black powder videos, working on the history of the Ferdinandina powder horn, or where my concept for that came from. It's not a special horn by any stretch of the imagination. It's, probably modestly executed as far as the engraving and the construction of the horn, but I think it tells an interesting story, and I think that is why we do living history to begin with. I heard Simeon England refer to, we do this because it tells a story. That is what I've always loved, to tell historical stories, explain things, and I've been told by my wife that I'm like my dad. I like to visit and talk, so this gives me a format to do that with. What we're doing today is I came up with a concept to get me started in the process of sighting in my Kibler Woodsrunner Flintlock rifle. I've never sighted in a Flintlock before. What I've seen with it, it can be a somewhat tedious process, where you work through different charge, patch thicknesses, bullet diameters until you get what the gun likes to digest. Then you go through the process of drifting the rear sight, or you can do the front sight. Most people do the rear sight, I believe. Drifting it left or right to refine the bullet impact left and right. Then you go through the process of, and they will almost always shoot high, low. I'll have to figure that out. But the process is you will file the front sight until you get the bullet impact. I guess they're going to always shoot low. You're going to file the front sight to bring the impact of the bullet up to where you want. A long process. I've not really found myself with that amount of time when the conditions were right, when I had nothing else to do. So what I have done, or what I'm going to attempt to do, is at least get the sights, as we used to call in the military, mechanically zeroed. Mechanically zero is where the sights line up with the bore in such a way that mechanically it should all line up. Then you take into other considerations, as I expressed before, bullet weight, bullet diameter, patch thickness, charge, etc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to impart a little 21st century technology to assist me while I do that. Stand by and we'll get this set up. Okay, what I have here is a laser boresight. It comes with a laser unit that fits into the bore of your firearm. It comes with a series of bushings so you can adjust it and use it for different calibers. This one here, it's got a cone that fits up flush against the bore. This bushing has been expanded to fit a 45 caliber firearm, which is what my Kibler is. It's also what my Thompson Center is, so I'm going to kind of be working on both. You expand it to where, and when you put it in there, you put it in and ensure there's no wobble, that it's truly aligned with the axis of the center of the bore. And so I've put it in, I've taken it out, I put it in again, and it continuously points to the same spot. So that tells me that it is aligned with the axis of the bore. Now going to the Kibler has basically what would be affectionately called non-adjustable sights. This is the back sight. It's a dovetailed sight that is, during the construction, it's driven into the dovetails. When I was putting this together, I tried to make sure that it was at least eyeball close to equal distance from either side of the flat. So then I did the same thing with the front sight. This is the front sight that comes very, very tall. And I'm gonna put a little more light on that. There we go, that might look better. And so that sight then will cause, because of its height, it will cause the bullet strike to be considerably lower than what it should be. So once you get it, like say, work through the different things that the gun likes, get it then moved left, right into what you're trying to hit, then you begin a process of lightly filing that front sight to bring the bullet strike up. So to hopefully speed that process up, one of the things that I'd like to at least do is get the bullet strike, at least on paper, in the neighborhood. So I'm going to do that with this. You can see it slides into the bore. You get it in there tight, and it doesn't move. You then turn the laser on, and it projects to a distance target to where the bore lines up to. One of the things that I will say is that you also need to do this at a reasonable distance. It's daylight outside, so I don't want to do this outside right now, so I'm inside, and it tells you to compensate for the height of the sight to the center of the bore, and take that into account while you're projecting it onto a target. I'm right now just going to worry left and right, knowing that the elevation is going to be off, and so not worrying too much about up, down at this point, because I figure as long as it's close, it'll get me on paper, or I think I'm probably going to start off with a gong just to, so okay, it's there. But we'll see. So anyway, there's the laser. I will show you what it looks like when it's set up in a configuration to project onto a target. Here's my setup inside my shop. As you can see, I have it in basically a cleaning stand. It's not going to be fired, so it just needs to be held while I do other things. So there's the gun in the cleaning fixture, and then there's my door on the other side of my embarrassingly dirty shop. My shop is 50 feet long. Strip out about 2 yards worth of distance here. And so I'm doing it at about 14 yards, somewhere around in there, maybe 13. So I'm going to try to walk down there. The camera's going to go crazy probably here. And the good thing is I've got an onboard microphone, so the sound shouldn't change much. So we're going to make sure the laser is centered. Whoops. Turn it on. You should see it appear down there on the door. Let me zoom just a little bit so you can see it. You can see it right there. You can see it down there. Okay, so now I'm going to go down and I'm going to tape the target onto the center bowl. That means that laser is pointed directly I'm a little disappointed in the focus of the laser. It's not a dot, it's kind of a football shape. But once again, we're not building a watch. That was great. We just watched Die Hard. He kept asking the cameraman, did you get that? I got that. Okay. So let's zoom in on that target as much as my camera will allow. And it's there. Okay. Now here's going to come the tricky part. Don't know whether I can get this in focus or not. I may just have to manually hold the camera. Let me take it off the tripod and see what we can do. Okay, I'm not sure this is going to capture well on the camera, but we're going to try. It's just a matter of me not being able to focus. And I don't mean mentally, I mean the camera. It's got autofocus. I've taken it off of that, trying to get it. It's just going to be probably a bridge too far. But hopefully you can get the concept of rear sight, front sight, target, laser, get them all close. And in this case, I'm close enough to be on paper. You can't see the laser, I don't think, at this point. Let me raise it up where you can. It won't be sighted in, with the barrel anymore. The camera won't be. But let me crank it up here. And there you can see. There you can see the front sight there, you can see the back sight, and you can see the laser in the distance. If I drop it down, you can see it's about lined up left, right, but it is low, which is what we anticipate. So I think that's, we're gonna call that at least a start point from the camera work and everything. I think we're gonna call it a success too. And hopefully that helped. It's kind of a new revelation for me. Like I said, I've never done this before. When we get outside, I got a couple more confessions that I'll make, but that'll be in another video. So until then, keep your powder dry. Everybody says that. Have a great one. God bless you. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.